Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, see everybody's piling in here. The music's coming to an end. I'll let it end. Perfect. Perfect. Wow. See a lot of names in here I haven't seen before on a live stream. I guess that's what happens on a Saturday, or maybe that's what happens after last week. Had a couple of videos did real well and got a lot of new subscribers. So thank you very much. And if you are new and you've never seen me before, welcome. These never turn out to be your traditional live streams that everybody's used to. Anything usually can and does happen in here. I'm here to answer your questions if I can. I'm not a doctor, not a nutritionist, not a dietitian, not any of those things. I think that's a good thing that I'm not any of those things, since we seem to be getting all this bad advice from all of those people. I'm kind of glad I didn't go and get my education where they did, because then I would be all wrong about everything. So it seems that those of us that have not been indoctrinated by the system maybe have some better answers, but we're not credentialed, so we have to be careful. We have to be careful lest we become a favorite topic of those slip and fall lawyers on the morning news every morning, when they think there's a lot of money to be made by suing people that give what they consider dangerous advice on YouTube. So that's my disclaimer. Consider yourselves disclaimed. Is that even a word? Yeah, it is now. Oh, let's see who we got here. I see we got David Bird joined up as a new member. Welcome. Welcome. And there was another new member, Ashley, I think. His name was Ashley. I don't have it in front of me. But welcome. Glad to have you. Don't forget our live stream on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern for the private community, and we have a ball. And that's me welcoming everybody. First in, Parky. How you doing, Parky? You were the first one in. Hope it's a good weekend. And then Jerry Bell, always early. Hello, meat people. Woodsbound, starting on my second week of carnivore. Well, good for you. You ought to be right. You ought to be right smack in the middle of getting adapted. So hang in there, man. But that's good. That's good. Always glad to hear somebody started, and I hope in 2 years from now you'll still be with us and you'll be an old hand. You'll be an old hand at this. I see that Ricky Lee, me a super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. Always generous of you. Thank you. And let me get back to where I was. Woodsbound Terry. Hiya, Terry. In a later comment, Terry's going to take us all in the shower with her today. She said that she was going to listen while she was in the shower. Don't guess there's any cameras around, but very nice of you to take us along. And she says she wants to hear me defend myself as an air fryer hoarder. Those of you who haven't been following my air fryer adventures over the last year, I'm up to 6 of them now. And I just got the 6th one. I just finished about an hour ago recording an unboxing video of the new 7-in-1, the Ninja that I got that's on sale. And I wonder if it's still on sale. You never know from day to day about these things. I'm going to go into my website here, and I'm going to go to kitchen small appliances, and I'm going to go down here to This is my webpage, by the way, where I have all the links to all the gadgets and gizmos and tools that I use. And here it is, the IG651. And let's see. It's still unbelievable. It's still 51% off at $179. And from my first glance at this thing, although I haven't plugged it in yet, it really looks good. But I'm going to start cooking with the thing probably tomorrow. I'm going to make some chicken wings. I'm going to make some burgers. I'm just going to run it through its paces. I'll probably finish a rack of ribs in there and make a video and put all those things in the video, kind of like a test drive of it. I have no doubt that it's going to do it as good as my 6-in-1, which is the 551. Their numbering scheme drives me absolutely crazy. They have a 551, which is a 6-in-1. They have a 651, which is a 7-in-1. Why didn't they just name it 751 if it's a 751 and 651? I don't know. I don't get it. I know the 5 means it's got a built-in thermometer in their numbering scheme. So if it was a 601, it would be a 7-in-1 without the thermometer. You shouldn't need a graduate degree from MIT to keep track of their numbering schemes. We shouldn't be that complicated, but that's coming. That's coming. I'm editing that unboxing video right now and decided I think I probably needed to take a little time off from that and get onto this live stream before everybody was sitting there waiting for me. Tina. Nice to see you, Tina Swikerath. Hi, Mitch. Nice to see you can stay watching a little while. Okay, good. I hope you're still here. And there's Terry telling us that she's going to take a shower. Grumpy Cat is here. Hello, Mitch, she says, or he. I can't tell sometimes, man or woman, by the name. United Carnivores here from Tampa. Tampa Bay Carnivores Unite. Yeah, that's the other side of the state from me. Tom, Viking 442, is over there in Tampa. Certainly a carnivore. And Jerry Vodstush, how you doing, my friend? From Florida as well. We have Keaton Carnivore, by the way. If anyone wants to gain weight on carnivore, smoke pot. Well, okay. Laser unfocused. I like that. Hi, Mitch. And Mary M. likes my music. Dixie is here from Texas. How you doing, Dixie? Good to see you. Good to see you. John BDR, good Saturday, Mitch. The meat pizza I made from recipe last night was great. My first one, and it was really easy. Thank you. Boy, I'm getting a lot of play. On that frittata, which, yes, I have learned how to pronounce it properly now after being told 30 times in the comments that I pronounced it wrong. My excuse was that 3 weeks ago I didn't even know what a frittata was. Sorry. At any rate, everybody's telling me all the variations of that they're making. They're making it almost like a pizza with a meat crust is what it's coming out like. They're putting sausage and pepperoni and chorizo, and they're putting all kinds of stuff onto cheese and all kinds of stuff on top of it. And I only have one cautionary note about that, and it's the caution I always give about trying to make foods that too closely resemble the foods you're addicted to. And if you happen to be addicted to pizza and love pizza, then eating anything close to pizza may get you in trouble. It may trigger a craving for the real thing. I don't know how many of you that'll happen to, but just keep that in mind when these foods that we create start to look more and more and more like hot fudge sundaes, if you know what I mean. Pretty soon our brain is going to go, wait a minute, that's not what I thought I was getting. I'm not happy. We're going to the ice cream store. And that's when your cravings take over, your conscious mind shuts down, and you are out of control. And we've all been there, and we all know that it can happen. So, That is John Beatty. Good to see you, my friend. And we have, with laser unfocused again, I made some homemade puffed pork rinds. Yeah, that is kind of time consuming, I would imagine, to make those things homemade. Stacy 11 says, what's up, Mitch? I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee. I've been in Jackson, Tennessee. Nice town out there in West Tennessee. The guy, when I was in the cigar business, we used to sell, and I forgot the name of the place, but we used to sell to the cigar shop there in Jackson, Tennessee. And we were out there a couple of times visiting him. I think I'm the only carnivore here in Jackson, Tennessee. You may very well be. That's out in West Tennessee. Second shift, so I'm glad to be able to catch you on Saturday. That's great. That's why I'm doing this Saturday thing. There's a lot of people, especially the people in Europe, and I'm sure that a lot of them are going to be showing up. But one thing you notice on Saturday here in the chat, you don't see nearly as much green names, which means my private community. And on my Tuesday night chat, it's mostly the private community. So they get me on Tuesday and Thursday, and probably by Saturday say, we've had enough of this clown for the week. Let's just take the day off. Bob Bem or Beam. Old Guy Bob here. Like that name, Old Guy Bob. Cool. Greetings from the Ozarks. Oh, 65 pounds, man. Man, congratulations. Congratulations. Hang on a second. There you go. Got the crowd just waiting to cheer for you. Congratulations, man. Keep it up. And, hey, from England, Morin, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you from across the pond. Ricky Lee is back. Been baking up $5 chuck steaks and cutting up and crisp them in butter in a frying pan. Man, what could be bad? What could be bad? What could be bad about that? He says, Walmart special. Yeah. Jerry, truly enjoying my ninja food. You like the 7-in-1? Okay, great. You'll see when you watch my video about the unboxing, the first thing I did was what most men do. Take out this big envelope, pull out the instructions and say, we don't need no stinking instructions, and put it back in the envelope and put it aside. And then I started unwrapping the pieces, the heavy metal pieces, the griddle plate, the grill with the burner in it, and I figured it out. Just by simply saying, does this go here? Clunk. No, doesn't fit there. Does this fit on top of that? No. And it took me a couple of minutes, but I figured out how it goes together. I probably will read the instructions anyway. It's more fun to be a detective and sleuth that stuff out. But it looks like a beautifully made unit for $179. I needed it like I needed another hole in my head, but I don't know. It's a disease. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. So thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see down at the bottom of the chat here, we have Parky. You offer a lot of wisdom on how to succeed long-term on carnivore. You have so many great videos to learn from. Bought that plate. Oh, great, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, and makes me feel good to know that something that comes out of this crazy head of mine actually does somebody some good. So thank you so much. Appreciate that, my friend. Where was I? That's the problem. As I go back, I'm trying to use this chat where I can put names up on the screen. I'm way behind on it, but Bob Beam, Ricky Lee, Walmart special did that. Jerry, here we go. I think we were up to this one. United Carnivore. Question, hey, good deal. Have you ever experienced a Brazilian steakhouse? Would be a great place for a local meetup, I think. My friend, you could not pick a better place to have a meetup than a Brazilian steakhouse. I've been to a couple of them. I've been to one in Miami, and the one in Miami, the was mostly in a neighborhood where it was almost all Brazilians. And I don't know if you know this or not, but so many people that live in South America, especially Brazilians, they don't even start eating their last meal of the day until 10 o'clock at night. And 11 o'clock, midnight, that's when they're eating. They're stuffing themselves. And in these Brazilian steakhouses, they have every kind of meat known to man. Most of it is cooked on skewers. And they have a whole bunch of these guys in uniforms, in outfits or costumes that run around carrying these big skewers of meat with a sharp knife, and they walk up to your plate. You want some of this? Yeah. And they slice you off a hunk. And then they go away, and the next guy comes up. He slices you off a hunk. Down in Miami, we ate so much. And this was a long time ago. This was 20, 30 years ago. I had no idea what carnivore even was. But we ate so much, honest to God, we waddled. We waddled out of there. I was up all night. Was so stuffed. But you talk about a meat fest. It's great. But they're not cheap. They're not cheap because their food is expensive. They have a number of them here in Orlando. They're all in the tourist areas, and most of them are kind of tourist trappy kind of places. My next favorite place for a meetup is a barbecue place, if you can find one that can lay off the rubs and the sugar a little bit. Some of them way overdo that. In fact, I think reason people go to most barbecue places is to get meat candy, because that's what they make. They make meat candy. They load it up with barbecue sauces and rubs loaded with sugar. And yeah, I guess it tastes okay, but you really notice that stuff after you get used to eating meat without all that sugar. So yeah, good idea, United Carnivore. We have Beard and Meat. Howdy, you all. Good to see you. And here's another one I haven't said hi to. Wow, are you a day trader or something? What he's referring to is this setup that I have here. And yes, I suppose you could do a number of things with this setup. You could day trade. I have day traded long ago. I could be in the control room at Houston and talk to people in space. I could do a lot of things, but these days, if you're going to do any kind of graphics work or editing or anything, you need a lot of screen real estate. I do website development, I do graphics, and even with these three monitors, there's times where I wish I had a fourth sitting right above me there. So no day trading for me anymore. Patrick McGrogan says, hello everybody from Ontario, Canada. How you doing? Good to see you. Jeannie De Janeiro is here, and Green Knight 7. You're a day trader, right? Everybody thinks I'm a day trader. No more trading for me. No more trading for me. Ricky Lee says, Mitch, my doctor says my age I should go for a colonoscopy, but I told him I better ask your advice first. I will not talk anybody out of a colonoscopy, ever. I've had 3 of them. I had my first one when I was 50, then 10 years later at 60, and then 10 years later at 70. And the reason I went 10 years between them is I never had a polyp. I never had any indication. Now, if they find a polyp, which is an indication of a precancer, while they're in there, they'll burn it or snip it out. And then they'll send it off for a biopsy. And then they'll tell you to come back in 3, 4, or 5 years, because colon cancer is very, very slow to progress. But I would recommend it everybody, because this is not what I think of when I think of typical doctors and their typical advice. This is one of the few things and the few technologies we have to actually catch something deadly very early and get rid of it. And the problem with colon cancer is it's insidious, and when you finally start getting affected by it, you're already probably stage 4 and you got a mess. But if you get a colonoscopy, which is an easy, easy thing, and they catch it, even if they just cut out a polyp and tell you to come back in 5 years, they may have saved your life and certainly saved you a lot of grief, possibly chemotherapy and all that that entails. So yes, I absolutely recommend it. There are very, very minor risks. If you get a doctor or somebody that isn't real good at it and they happen to perforate your colon, yes, you have a real problem. They usually have to have surgery immediately to fix it. And I can only tell you from personal experience that you learn the true meaning of the word cleanse on the day before your colonoscopy. I make a joke about it. I tell everybody when they get their first colonoscopy the day before, while they're busy cleansing, keep an eye out for that 20 pounds of undigested red meat that all the vegans tell us we have in our intestines. Nobody's ever seen it yet. Nobody's ever seen it come out. Not when you're even clean as a whistle, after you've cleansed the day before your colonoscopy. But they swear that 20 pounds of undigested red meat is in there and it's going to cause cancer and it's killing you. When in reality, what's really in there is 20 pounds of undigested fiber from all of the landscaping that you're eating that's causing all the problems. Information and disinformation. Plenty of that to go around. So yes, I would definitely get that first colonoscopy. I've had my last at this point. When I was 70, I was clean as a whistle, and I said, that's it. There's no need for me to go through this anymore. Even if I got colon cancer beginning now, it probably wouldn't kill me before I died anyway. And I don't feel like going through that. Now, when I turn 80, I may change my mind. Who knows? But after you get over the first part of it, you lay on the table, you lay on your side. They give you Versed or some other type of mild anesthesia that doesn't put you under deeply, but you are out of it. And when you do wake up, you don't remember a thing. You don't remember you could come out of it and tell the recovery room nurse your entire life story, your bank account numbers, all your secrets, the names of the people you've killed. You could just spit it all out and tell her. And a half an hour later, you will have no memory whatsoever of having said anything. I know that because when I came out of it, I remember waking up and becoming kind of aware again, and I started talking, and everybody I was talking to said, yeah, you already told us that. No, I didn't. Yeah, you told us that, 15 minutes ago. Well, you told us that too. And I said, what the hell did I do? Spew out my entire life story while I was asleep? But you'll do that when you come out of Versed or one of those kind of drugs. Mitch, my MCT Earl is arriving today. Any thoughts? Your MCT. Are you talking about medium chain triglycerides? I don't know what that is. Clarify that for me. Julia Wigger, how you doing? I do need to buy a new air fryer. Well, keep an eye out in the next couple of days for the reviews on this one. I don't know how long that $179 is going to last. I didn't think it would last this long, but they must have had a ton of them, so they still got the price there. Woodsbound, I'm following your advice. The first month, just to eat meat and don't worry about how much. Yep, I found that. Worked for me. After that first month, you got plenty of time to worry about that other stuff when you're less likely to get caught up in binge. Aunt B is here. How you doing, Aunt B? Aunt B tells you all hit the thumbs up. Little Toes, I'd be drinking 1 to 3 cups of coffee, add 1 teaspoon of sugar and whipping cream, mess up my carnivore diet. Yes, you would, but those with the sugar, the whipping cream probably okay if you don't use too much of it, but you can't be on a carnivore or even a low carb diet if you're using 3 teaspoons of sugar every day. You're over your carb allotment, and it's just not going to help you, and certainly won't let your cravings go away. So at any rate, we're getting down in the chat here. Jeannie De Janeiro, how you doing? Italians are very happy now that you pronounced frittata correctly. I'm incredibly relieved that the Italians and I now have straightened out our differences. Anna, hello from Nanette, Manitoba. M. Bolt, how are you? Tony S. is here with a thumbs up. We have a lot of people I've never talked to before. I met Cheryl from British Columbia, Canada. How are you? And then Lise Weberg from Denmark. I remember Lise from last week and the week before. How you doing, Lise? Good to see you. Glad to be here when you're awake. And, of course, Julie Wiggers from the UK, making oxtail casserole. And Texas Tom Shaving Tips. Sorry I'm late going through comments. Yeah, there's been a lot of comments I've been going through lately. Holy cow. Let's see who I haven't said hi to yet. Gilream, good to see you. Remember, if you got some questions, stick a QQQ in front of it. And like I told you all last week, but I think there's a lot of new people here today that haven't been in one of my live streams before. In the chat. And I want to show you how to do this. So I'm going to bring up my center monitor here, and I'm going to go in here and get rid of, I need to get rid of that thing down there. Okay, so down here where I'm moving the mouse around in the lower left-hand corner is where you would type your comment, and you would type your comment in there. Well, did you see that? Did you see that red thing that just lit up there? When I see that, that grabs my attention. And that's from F.J. Cormier, or Cormier. And how he did that, he, in the chat, typed the @ sign, and he typed OL, okay, which are the first 2 letters of another user in the chat's name. In that case, it was mine. And up popped in this window here, Old Guy Carnivore. And if I click on that, it fills in the first part of my chat at Old Guy Carnivore and addresses that comment pretty much to me, because when that comment comes through, it will be highlighted in red. Now, that doesn't work on every device, and on some devices, if it doesn't pop up after you type the @ sign and then OL, you have to type out Old Guy Carnivore. But if you start your text with Old Guy Carnivore, and then you really want to get my attention and you type QQQ, I will get a big red box followed by QQQ, and that will grab my attention, because I'm trying to keep track of all of this stuff here, and 2 different places where the chats show up, and it does, honest to God, it does get confusing. Most places like radio shows and things like that, they have producers. They have people sitting in control rooms. But these one-man live streams, it's a different story. But it's fun. And it's especially fun now that I got sound effects. Yes, sir. Big time. So that's how to get my attention. And since he got my attention, F.J. Cormier says, I bought the 7-in-1 and love it. Thanks, Mitch. And now I'm gonna switch my attention back over here to this chat instead of the one that's over on the right side of me, because this, on the right side chat, I can make the stuff highlight. Like, here's Texas Tom's. See, Texas Tom's chat. I can highlight it, but over here I can't highlight it. So I'm gonna, but it's easier for me to keep up with this, so I'll just read out your name now instead of putting you up on the screen. Little Toe says, QQQ Test. Everybody is now trying it, and my name is popping up in red everywhere. See all the red now at the bottom? There you go. So you're getting the hang of it. Juan Manuel from Chile is here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Where were you Thursday night? I know you were in the chat, but I didn't see you coming into the live stream. Must have been busy driving. Must have been busy. Beard and Meat, Old Guy Carnivore. I haven't shared my short story here. Figured I'd go ahead. I'm 10 months in now. Started at 305, down to 170. Holy cow, you deserve. That's fabulous, man. 31 years old, never been healthier. Yeah, yes, sir. I'll never forget a year ago, just about the time I was starting to be a carnivore YouTuber. I went to Orlando, to the Orlando Keto Meeting, where Ken Berry was a speaker. I had produced and put out one video, my first video, the title of which was, I Will Start the Diet Again on Monday, which is something we all know and love. And I went over there because it was about an hour drive. I didn't stay in the hotel or do anything, but I did pay $100-something to get admitted, and went over a couple days, came home overnight. And I went over on Friday, and I got there Friday morning, and I was sitting having some coffee, and Ken Berry and Nisha come walking in, and I kind of accosted him, I guess you could say. I don't know if it bordered on assault or not, but I got his attention. And we started talking, and great guy. And I asked him point blank, I said, does the world need another carnivore YouTuber, for God's sakes? Because I made one video. I said, I was a drone YouTuber. Does the world need another carnivore YouTuber? And he said, we can't get enough carnivore YouTubers. And he said, what's the name of your channel? I told him. He took out his cell phone. He pulled up my channel. He opened up my first video on his cell phone that said, I'll start the diet again on Monday. He went down into the comments and he wrote, carnivore is the way. He didn't subscribe to my channel, but he did leave a comment. And I, of course, because Ken is like the biggest star in the carnivore community, I pinned his comment to the top. And if you go back and look at that video, if you find it, it's almost a year old now, you'll see in the comment section, the first comment is Ken Berry's, and it says, carnivore is the way. He has since left 2 other comments on 2 of my videos. One of them actually said, Old Guy Carnivore has helped more people than any doctors that I know. And that was kind of flattering. So, and I'm trying to remember what the third one was, but then he and Nisha gave me quite a hell of a shout out one night on their Monday night live stream, which basically set my channel on fire for a little while. And I made a couple of videos about what happened when Nisha told the world how much she loved me. And Ken said, yeah, but don't cross the guy because he's not afraid to tell you what he thinks. And so he knows me, and they've been following me a hell of a lot more than I thought that they might have been. And I haven't made an effort to bug him or bother him or try to get an interview or anything like that, because he does his thing and he's very busy. And I always figured if any of these guys feel like I can add something to what they're doing, they'll reach out to me. A couple of them have. As a matter of fact, that segue into an announcement. Most of you know who Curry Man is. His channel name is Homestead How. He's making a movie. It's pretty well known. I think anybody who's been watching carnivore videos for a while knows Curry at Homestead How. I was on with Curry a few months ago. We had a great live stream. And we're going to be on again tomorrow together at 5:15 Eastern Time, which would be 4:15 Central Time, which is where Curry lives. So 5:15. It's going to be on both our channels, but the stream is actually been posted on his channel. But it will be kind of simulcast on mine. So if you're a regular subscriber of mine, you'll probably get, and Curry's, you'll probably get both notices, and it really doesn't matter where you watch it. It really doesn't. I think it mixes the two chats together. I think I've done one other of these dual live streams, and I don't think I did it correctly. Anyway, let me go back, because now everybody's using my little trick, and now nobody with red is all that special anymore, because everybody's doing it. Little Toes said test. Bearded Meat says 31 years old, lost 1 million pounds, man. Good for you. Good for you. Juan Manuel says, good afternoon from Chile. And did you ever make bone broth? No. Never made bone broth. I made beef soup. I have a video about that. I made that out of the chuck adventure, the chuck steak, the long sous vide chuck, where I made the cubes in the air fryer, which was, people loved those things. And I also took all of the juice that was left from that, and I made beef soup. It was fabulous. I need to do that again. And I heated up that beef soup, and I took pork rinds and floated them in the soup. And it had exactly the same texture as croutons in onion soup. And the flavor was fabulous. And I made enough of that to like 4 big cups. It did not last. It didn't last too long. And I need to figure out a way to just make the soup. Forget about the other things. Just make a big batch of soup and maybe freeze some. It was really good. But now I've never been. I don't know why. There's so, too much to do, so little time, I guess. Mark R. Boo Sr. says, good afternoon. And hey, I'm 15 pounds from 100 pounds down since January 1st. Stacy, congratulations. We have Julia talking to Terry. Minimalist Carnivore. Hey, man. That's Chad. How you doing? Good to see you. Any of you have never watched this channel, you should take a look. Got a lot of good information. And I know that you make bone broth almost weekly, but with lamb bones. Yeah. Terrific. I use an Instant Pot for bone broth, quick and easy. There's a thought. And there's one kitchen appliance I don't have. Oh, man. I don't even know if I could find room in this house to put another one of these appliances. It's crazy. I have one of my bathrooms is stacked up from the floor up with junk that I don't have room to put anywhere else. Grumpy Cat says, hi, Mitch. Question. Yesterday, I had my first sous vide ribeye steak seared. It turned out great and delish. Are there any foods you tried that did not work out for sous vide? Not so much that didn't work out, but maybe weren't done at the optimal temperature to sous vide. I've overcooked a few things at a sous vide by mistake, actually. I did that to a steak about a week ago. I had just previously in the sous vide cooked some salmon poached in butter at 145 degrees, and I didn't reset the temperature. So instead of 128 degrees, I ended up sous videing this poor steak for 2 hours at 145. And while it wasn't completely well done, it was way, way too well cooked for me. And as far as I was concerned, I actually ruined it. They say don't do foods with air trapped in them. So in other words, you wouldn't want to put a whole chicken, for example, with a cavity in the center in a sous vide. They don't recommend sous videing ground beef either because of how loosely it may be compacted. There's a wealth of information about sous vide. And there's a guy named Guga, G-U-G-A, in Miami, who owns a company called Guga Foods and has some huge YouTube channels. One of them happens to be called Sous Vide Everything. And he's got tons of stuff on there. And if you want to learn about sous vide, go watch Google. I mean, he does some of the weirdest stuff you've ever seen. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, some of the experiments that he tries. And he's funny guy. He's an entertaining guy too. So sous vide everything. But me, I stick to the basics with the sous vide. The higher the temperature, the longer the time, the tenderer it's going to get. In meats that you're not looking to have come out like medium rare. Generally, you're not looking for a chuck to come out medium rare. You're looking for a longer cook to tenderize it. So experiment a little bit. Experiment. Sous vide is my favorite way of chuck by a long shot. Yeah, Minimalist Carnivore says it's a great way to cook, and if you set the temperature right, you can't hardly overcook it. You can leave it sit for hours or days sometimes. It'll just get more tender. But it won't get overdone. It won't get overdone. Stink ass cat. Well, there's a name that rolls off the tongue. Sous vide makes cheap cuts taste and as tender as ribeyes. Almost. If you put the two in front of me, I could still tell you which one the ribeye is. But yeah, but for what a chuck costs, definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go. Gilream says, hey, it works. Yeah, I showed up in red. Pretty cool. Juan down there in Chile. Old Guy Museum Air Fryers Pavilion. Yeah, I'm trying to corner the market on air fryers. I figure pretty soon, if anybody wants an air fryer, they're going to have to come to me. See, I can name my price that way once you corner the market. And we have, I'm down at the bottom of the chat. How the hell did that happen? Be Happy Cat. Does the carnivore diet help for psoriasis? You know, everybody says that it does. Because that is an autoimmune condition. Does it guaranteed to help everybody? I can't say that. I think if you just go into YouTube and in the YouTube search bar, type the words carnivore and psoriasis, and you'll probably find videos from 5 or 10 or even more doctors or influencers that could really answer that question from their own experience with their patients as a carnivore physician. I can tell you that I had eczema. I had eczema all over my elbows for a long time. I was always scratching, always dry, always itchy, completely gone. Within a few months of starting carnivore, completely gone. Be Happy Cat says, can't afford to lose weight and there's no butcher near. I don't tolerate dairy and all the meat seems very lean. How to get enough fat? Bacon. Bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs should be the mainstay as far as I'm concerned. Now, some people may have something against it. There are people who just excuse, well, there's sugar and bacon. You know, there's maybe a little in the cure, but not enough to add a full gram of carbs to a serving. And God, with the amount of bacon I eat and still weighing 138 pounds, I can tell you, for somebody that could gain 30 pounds a month back in my heyday, eating as much as I eat, and as much fat, and as much bacon, and as many eggs, and as much beef, and fatty fish, and never gaining an ounce. I'm not worried about that. But bacon is a great food. If you don't believe me, look up the makeup of the fat in bacon. It's a high amount of monounsaturated fat, the same good fats that everybody keeps telling you to eat. It's not. I think there's more monounsaturated than saturated fat in bacon. And saturated fat's good for you too. Also, eggs, I think, are probably one of the most nutrient dense and most nutrient balanced foods that a human can eat. When you think about what's in an egg is a chicken kit. You know how you used to buy kits to build things from? And the kits would come in a box, and the box would have a cellophane wrapper sealed around it. And that box was impenetrable. Nothing could get in, nothing could escape. Everything, virtually everything necessary to build whatever it was that was a kit of, was inside that sealed, impenetrable box. That's what an egg is. An egg is a chicken kit. Virtually every atom and every molecule, every fat, every protein, every vitamin, the exact amount of each, the right amount of cholesterol, the right amount of everything is in that egg. And if it's left alone, a live chicken will pop out. A fully functional live chicken built out of nothing but the raw materials contained in that egg. Where are you going to find a better balance of nutrients than in something that can produce from its own contents a living organism? Nature's vitamin pill, a lot of people call it. There is no reason to fear eggs. Some people have sensitivities, especially to the egg whites and the proteins in it. But if you're not allergic to them, if they don't bother you, don't be scared of eggs. There have been carnivore doctors on YouTube that have put out videos saying, I ate 2 dozen eggs a day for 30 days. This is what happened to me. And what happened to them is they got healthy. So if you want to add fat, bacon and eggs and fatty meats. And pork is a fattier meat. I love baby back ribs. I eat them once a week. I've got great ways to cook them. I sous vide them. I finish them in the air fryer or on a barbecue grill with just smoked salt and nothing else. No rubs, no sugar, and they're fabulous. They're delicious. Lot of fat. I know there's a lot of fat because of the number of paper towels I go through as I eat these things, and the grease is dripping down my arms and in my beard. And with the only thing that happens to me if I way overconsume fat happens to me, I notice it in the bathroom. Things get a little loose. Doesn't happen very often. I think when you think about eggs are 50% fat by weight, which makes them about 70% by calories. And that's pretty much the exact ratio. You should have 70 to 80% fat and 20 to 30% protein and no carbs, or few carbs. And that's one of the handy things about eggs, is you don't have to think about stuff like that. Comes prepackaged for you with the exact ratio of fat to protein. Same thing with bacon. Bacon is a fatty enough meat that even though a lot of the fat renders off while you're cooking, what you got left to eat is still pretty close to the correct fat to protein ratio. And that makes it, eating bacon and eggs almost every day makes it real easy for me to not have to think about anything. I know that I'm going to eat 1.5 to 2 pounds of food a day of some sort. I know that half of that is probably going to be bacon and eggs, at least 6 days a week. And it's going to be about 1/2 pound of that thick cut Wright's bacon. And it's going to be 5 eggs on an average. Some, if the eggs are a little smaller, I'll eat 6. If they're huge, I'll eat 4. But that's going to be one meal, and that's worked out. I don't gain an ounce, I don't lose an ounce. No matter what I do, my weight stays within a pound. So I know that that works. And then I know that I should eat another pound of food sometime a day, because I eat 2 meals a day. I can't eat enough food in one meal. If I tried to keep it to 1 meal a day, I would probably not eat enough. So I decided I'm just going to do 2 meals a day, 3-4 hours apart, no closer than 3 hours, usually 4 hours and sometimes 5. And that's basically puts me on intermittent fasting, which I've been doing for almost 2 years now. And that's at least an 18-hour fast every day, at the worst, and a 20-hour fast at its best, which is plenty. I eat no snacks. This is what I've learned really works for me and keeps me from ever being hungry, from ever feeling deprived, from ever feeling sorry for myself that I can't eat this or I can't eat that, poor me. Never happens. I'm always satisfied. When it comes time for me to eat at 11 o'clock or noon, and that's the first time I eat every day, 11 o'clock to noon, I could take it or leave it. I can't remember the last time that I was ever ravenous. And I'm talking about the kind of ravenous that the average American is at 10 o'clock in the morning because it's been 2 hours since they last ate a huge amount of sugar and their blood sugar is crashing and their insulin is screaming, and you get ravenously hungry, cravings, horrible craving. I get, the worst I ever get is somebody says, "Hey, Mitch, you hungry?" I say, I could eat. That's it. I could eat. And that's generally when I eat. And I know exactly when I'm satiated because I know almost exactly how much food it takes. And this is something we all have to learn, and it's just a little trial and error and experiment. And be aware of your feelings and your instincts and your reactions to what you're doing. And take notice if you get a craving, if you feel like, well, God, I don't know why, but I really feel more hungry today than I normally do. Figure out what you did differently. Increase the amount of food a little. I know the question started out as somebody saying that they needed to gain weight with psoriasis. Can't afford to lose weight. There's no butcher near. I don't tolerate dairy or meat. I can't tell you what to do. I don't know anything about you. You don't need dairy. I've given up all dairy now. I don't need any cheese or whipping cream. I used to just gorge on whipping cream and blueberries frozen. I used to make myself ice cream. And you talk about a diet ruiner right there. I start with that stuff. I cannot stop until it's all gone. How do you get enough fat? Like I said, eggs. If you eat eggs, you can't not get enough fat because it's got plenty of fat in it and it's got the right fat for you. You can also put butter on things. That's fat. If you drink coffee, you could put whipping cream in it. You just, you don't have to eat ribeyes to get fat. In fact, most people that eat ribeyes don't even eat the fat. They trim around it. So there's ways. BWS 2023 says, great channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And David DeSagne says, need to add fat, eat a dozen egg yolks and a few teaspoons of butter. Done. True, because most of the fat in eggs is in the yolks. BB1 Max says cultured lactose-free butter works too. Desanya, well, one egg equals one tiny chick, but yes, still, eggs are great. One full-grown chicken has a lot more nutrition than an egg. But okay, sure, when the chick grows, it's taken building materials from everything it's eaten and incorporated that into its own structure. And of course, it has to have more than it did when it started. Kind of like you and me. We're a little bigger than when we popped out. Rod Bennett says, always remember, 6 eggs are better than 1. Yes. So true, so true. Chad says, for those new, keep hard-boiled eggs in the fridge, and if you get hungry, it's ready to roll. Well, if you followed me at all, that's my rules for the first 30 days is do not ever let yourself get hungry, even if that means eating 10,000 calories a day of meat. I tell people, eat until you can't move. If you ever get a cravings, you better have almost like a holster around your waist full of hamburgers and bacon pre-cooked that you can quick draw in an instant before that craving has you on the way to the store to buy crap. Not to be concerned about whether you gain any weight. Gain weight if you have to. The mission is to wake up your fat-burning pathways and let them remember that that's the way we're supposed to live as a fat burner. Once your body gets over sugar as a default fuel, everything changes. Everything changes. I've done whole lectures on the physiology of that, the chemistry of that, and the why of it from a evolutionary standpoint. It's just true. Once you are a fat burner, the rules and the reactions change. So hang in there. It's going to take you 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. It's going to be a little tough. You're going to have bathroom adventures. Your gut biome's going to revolt. All the little sugar-eating bacteria are going to be marching up and down with signs, shooting guns at anything, screaming that they're starving. Everything has to rebalance itself, and it'll all settle down, and life will be different. I never would have believed that. I never would have believed that. Not 3 or 4 years ago. I would have, if I heard me talking, if I could go into the future and listen to what I'm saying today, I would have said, shut up, you crazy old man. What the hell do you know? That's impossible. Never say never. David Desanya says, I ate a dozen eggs yesterday and about 5 teaspoons of water. Yeah. I had 5 eggs and about a half a pound of bacon for lunch today, and as soon as this stream is over, I'm going to cook myself up about a pound of burger, and that'll be it for me. I could skip the pound of burger, but I found that I'm better off when I eat more food than less. I don't want to lose 138 pounds, for God's sakes, 5'10". I don't want to lose any more weight. I get these idiots leaving me comments telling me what's wrong with me and that I'm not healthy and that I'm way too thin, that I have no muscle, that I have scoliosis, that I don't exercise the right way, that I shouldn't walk, I should do resistance. They know nothing about me. Nothing. They don't know that every other day I go into that little home gym of mine, do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, pull-ups. I have resistance bands. They don't know that. I'm thin. Yes, I'm thin. And no, I'm not building muscle like a 30-year-old bodybuilder. I'm 77 years old, for God's sakes. My philosophy at this point in my life is to maintain the muscle that's necessary to live the lifestyle that I live and not have to support muscle I'll never use and never need and endanger my joints in doing it. I've had to do that. I was working out like a bandit. I was putting on more muscle, but I was suffering. I was in pain. My shoulders was killing me all the time from, moving weights around that were necessary to build this muscle. I decided that that's wrong. But when I have to read these comments about these idiots that just tell me how sickly I am and how underweight I am, the hell with them. I don't engage them, and it's all I can do to keep from just blocking them from ever commenting again on the channel. Don't tell people what you think is wrong with them. That is just the most absurd thing that you can do to a stranger. It's something I never do to any of my followers or people that engage with me, is say, the trouble with you is, and what you need to learn is, and if you don't straighten, you can't do that. Just such disrespect. Such disrespect. And I'll tell you what, after a lifetime of 77 years living, enduring people telling me what's wrong with me and where I fell short and how disappointed they are. And we all know that you get that your entire life. You started to get it from your mother when you were 3. You got to reach a point in life where you say, enough. Enough. I'm not listening to that crap anymore. I am 77. I think I'm old enough to deserve a little more respect than that. I read one of these comments 2 hours ago. I'm still pissed. I shouldn't let it piss me off. I really shouldn't. But it does. It does. Usually save this stuff up for Monday morning and rant like hell. People can be so inconsiderate and unkind. And then they say, well, I just wanted to help you. You know what? Don't help me. If you want to help me start a YouTube channel, and if I think you got something to say, I'll start to watch. And if you don't think I got something to say, don't watch me. It's that easy. Why create stress? Why create stress? Where was I before I go off on this thing? Well, you guys are doing it. Question, Mitch. Bear, here it is. I thought I had a question. I am the same. I don't like to eat the fat on the meat. Steak mainly. I don't mind it on bacon or pork and lamb, so I've been using butter in my eggs and double cream in my eggs and coffee. That works, whatever works for you to get it in you. And you'll know if it's working. You know if it's working. You know by your weight. You know by how you feel. You know by your energy levels. You know by your body composition. And like I say, for somebody, the only video that guy who made that comment ever saw of mine was that video where I went on that walk earlier in the week. And that video is doing real well. I thought that may be my finest video I ever made. I don't know where all that came from, that 35 or 40 minutes of speechifying I did, but I've watched it a few times and said, damn, who was that guy? And where did that come from? It comes from way down deep, from the big picture of how everything works. And sometimes if you just shut off your brain and stop trying to think about it, the thoughts and the concepts just come pouring out all by themselves. It's crazy. But he saw me walking, and from that video, from me walking, he decided everything that was wrong with me and what I needed to fix. Fine. I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me about it. You don't know anything. Chad says, I do not do dairy much. At 4 ounces of cream, 2 to 3 eggs, blend with ice milk, make a thick drink. Not for me, Chad. Sorry, buddy. Question, Mitch, how did you stumble onto carnivore? Well, I started stumbling in 1973 when I read Robert Atkins' book, The Atkins Diet Revolution. And right off the bat, this low carb stuff made tremendous sense to me. So I have been low carb all my life. And most of my life I have been on low carb, except for the 3 or 4 month little periods, 10 or 15, maybe even 20 times, where I lost weight, celebrated, rewarded myself with a treat, and put all the weight back on again over the next 3 or 4 months, and we've all been there. up and down, up and down, up and down. But over the course of my life, I would say 80% of the time, I was eating very low carb. So it was natural for me to be a low carb diet. And we knew it was a ketogenic diet. We talked about ketogenic diets. All the diets, the interim diets along the way from Atkins until today of the low carb kind lean towards ketogenic diets. You had the Zone diet, Barry Sears, you had Cordain's diet, Paleo diet, Protein Power was the book he wrote. You had all of these diets that came along that were basically just slight variations of the same thing, and that was eat fat, eat meat, don't eat sugar. Allow yourself to be in ketosis. And that's all carnivore is. It's just a little extension. It's like a keto diet without the Brussels sprouts, basically. Because if you're on a keto diet and you're eating shit and you're filling yourself up full of all these keto snacks and keto this and keto, you're not on a keto diet. You're on a standard American diet. Have you ever read the ingredients and all those things that they sell in Costco that have the words keto on them? That's nuts. A real keto diet is Eric Westman's style. Basically, it's a carnivore diet with a few veggies. Period. Even fruit can screw up a keto diet real quick. So on carnivore, we're essentially on keto, but we've eliminated plants. Most of us didn't like them, didn't like veggies anyway when you stop to think about it. I mean, do you know anybody that's addicted to broccoli? Do you know anybody in this country right now that's standing on a street corner, shaking, going, man, I'm jonesing for some broccoli, man. And where can I get me some broccoli? If I don't get some broccoli in a hurry, man, I'm done. And you think there's a human being on the planet Earth right now that's jonesing for broccoli? Nobody likes friggin' broccoli. Certainly not children. It's not something that we recognize as food. It wasn't food until very recently, until we started crossbreeding things. Everybody, Lise says she hates broccoli. Everybody hates broccoli. And we all hated Brussels sprouts until they genetically modified them to be sweet. So you could caramelize them with garlic and air fry them. And they actually ended up having a decent taste. That's not how nature made Brussels sprouts. Nature made Brussels sprouts as bitter, horrible tasting things. Nobody wants to eat plants. It was a survival thing. We had to or die until the meat came around. And the fact that these lunatics these days are saying that that's the healthy way to eat is the reason, and we all know that. We can't go over that now, how it started, how it happened, how this ridiculous advice and dietary guidelines came to be, the corruption. We all know the story, how bad the doctors are or misled. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the world is crazy right now. It's not just diet. It's crazy everywhere. Nothing makes any sense anymore. Stupidity reigns. Life as we know it is no politics. No politics. Is this the one I'm looking for? Yes. The record scratch and that little pathway. Oh, what time is it? Wow, 10 after 4 already. Having a good time. Having a good time. Celery water with hair, says Dixie. I like that. I like that. That's great. That's great. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything here that any of you guys are finding any fault with. It's just obvious. It's just common sense. I joke, and when I think of vegetarians, I talk about people who eat their landscaping. We're not supposed to eat wood, and yet that's what cellulose, that's what wood is, cellulose, and all the stalks of vegetables are cellulose, and it's indigestible, it's insoluble. And our body, when we put it in there, just wants to get it out as soon as it can. And along come the vegans and vegetarians who think that that's a sign of great health. The fact if you take 6 colossal dumps a day, that means you're healthy. No, it doesn't. It means you're cramming yourself so full of garbage your body can't get rid of it fast enough. If it was good for you, your body would absorb it. That's why we who eat nothing but meat hardly ever have any waste. For a while there, I was only going to the bathroom once a week. It took me that long just to pile up enough to get rid of. Now things have relaxed a little bit, and I think the size of my colon has shrunk down. But I have diverticulosis from having been constipated and plugged up for so many years, always taking laxatives. My poor colon, God, I can't even imagine what it must look like from being stretched out of shape all those years. Because that's what diverticulosis is. For those of you that don't know, diverticuli are outpouchings. They're like little balloon things that, like an aneurysm, but not of an artery of your colon. And that's why they get inflamed, because they outpouch and they become places where things like little pockets and things stay there, and you get inflammation. And that, when your diverticulosis turns into diverticulitis, now you've got something serious, and you've got an infection, and you've got to treat it with probably antibiotics. I never got that far with it, but I can tell you that diverticulosis does cause you discomfort. You can feel the pressure from these things. And when you get plugged up, it gets worse. And I've been having that discomfort my entire life, and I have not had the slightest little tiny bit of that in over a year and a half now. So it solved that problem. And I think maybe my colon might be getting back in shape, a little bit. Although, when you get to be my age and you've beat the hell out of yourself for so many years, there's only so much you can expect it's actually going to get repaired. And I think that I'm very fortunate that so much of what I had that bothered me actually healed up. The best thing that healed up with me was rheumatoid arthritis. I would get these flare-ups of this where I was in such pain in every joint of my body that I couldn't even tie my own shoes from arthritis, which is autoimmune. My back would be so bad. My knees would hurt so bad I had a hard time walking. None of that. Not even close anymore. No pain anywhere from anything. It's crazy. My eyes, my vision has improved. My eye floaters have gone. My hair. I mean, this is nuts. This is nuts. Here's a rear view. See this? I don't have a lot of it, but you see the color? You see the color of my hair? I'm 77 years old. My hair is getting darker. Look, it's getting darker. I never went completely gray, but I swear it's getting darker now. I have one of these scales digital scales that you get on, and it tells me that my age is in the lower 70s according to my physiological age on that scale. Although I don't know if that isn't a real raft of bullshit, but I just feel younger. I feel like I'm actually getting younger instead of getting older. Now, I'm not crazy. I know that nobody's going to live forever. I don't care how long I live at this point. As long as I can stay alive and be mobile and pain-free and clear thinking, I don't care how long it lasts. What I don't want is an end that I see so many people younger than me. That's what's scary. And many of you are my age or older. And it's scary to see your friends get sick and die. Every one of my friends is gone. Every close friend I ever had in life, dead. two of them were vegans and vegetarians. Used to give me shit for eating meat constantly. That's going to kill you, Mitch. You shouldn't be eating it. You should be eating this hummus and this crap and that. And I got nauseous looking at this crap they used to. They're both dead. They're both dead. That vegan doctor, John McDougall, was 10 days younger than me. I've been reading a little bit about him and about how over the last year his health really deteriorated. And he's the starch guy. He's the guy that zero fat, period. No fat. You can't eat fat. Fat is bad. You can't eat any animal products, period. No dairy, no fish, no meat, no nothing. You have to eat only starchy vegetables. That's it. 100% starch diet. And he had a big following, made a lot of money, lectured, wrote books. Real cult. He was a real jock when he was young. I wasn't. I was a fat kid with a body like Pillsbury Doughboy. I was never a jock. I was never an athlete. I was always the nerd and the focus of bullies. I'm at the strongest in my life right now and in the best shape of my life because of this diet. When I see somebody like McDougall, who was a jock, who was thin and good looking and muscular, and I see him going in the exact opposite direction of me, getting sicker and weaker and sicker and weaker and eventually dying last week, when I'm getting stronger and healthier and stronger and healthier, nobody's going to tell me that eating starchy vegetables is the way to go. I mean, it's like that country song, "Don't believe your lying eyes." I mean, the evidence is right there in front of us. These people are telling us not to believe it. It's crazy. It's crazy. I blame their lack of common sense on their lack of nutrition, and their brains simply aren't working. I can't think of any other reason how people could have become so stupid in this world today, other than the fact that their brains are not working properly. Grubby Cat says, question, hi Mitch, have you experienced any, I can't see that word, it is covered up by one of YouTube's stupid hearts. There it is, any gout from eating red meat and seafood? Actually, eating red meat and seafood and everything else has absolutely, completely cured my gout. And I have not had a gout attack in a year and a half. And I used to have terrible, terrible gout. And anybody who's ever had gout knows that next to my kidney stones that I had, gout was the next painful thing. If kidney stones are a 12 on a scale of 1 to 10, then gout would be an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. You know the pain scale when you go and they show you and it's got smiling face is a 0 and the frown with the tears is a 10. Well, gout is a frown with the tears and a dagger stuck in your head. That's where that lies on the pain scale. Not an attack. That's an old wife's tale. Ken Berry does some great videos on that. A lot of people have. They all talk about uric acid. When your uric acid is eating the amount of protein that we eat, your uric acid is going to be higher, but that's not what's causing the gout. It's not what, and a lot of what people have is also oxalate deposits in their joints. That's a really big problem, especially since some rocket scientists decreed that spinach is a superfood. Think about that. Spinach is a superfood, and so are almonds. And so is dark chocolate. Those three foods are probably the highest oxalate-containing foods on the planet. And they have us believing they're superfoods. Can't eat too much spinach, or you can't eat too many almonds. Almonds are incredibly high in cyanide. In fact, almond-smelling breath is how you tell somebody has died of or is dying of cyanide poisoning. If you take a pound bag of raw almonds from Sam's Club, sit down in front of the TV, and mindlessly eat half of that bag, you will more than likely kill yourself. Or at best, be on your way to the hospital in an ambulance from cyanide poisoning. So in the almonds, you've got cyanide and you've got oxalates, both in almonds to keep them from being eaten by animals, which is why all defense chemicals are in plants, to discourage animals from eating it, to make animals sick, to interfere with the animal's absorption of nutrients, which is what lectins do. Things like gluten and stuff that's in wheat and grains. All they do is interfere with the normal biology of an animal. And they're by not design, but by trial and error, let's say, and survival of the fittest, that's how it shook out. And then here comes we, the smart humans, the juicer salespeople. Pardon me, we've invented juicers. Now we have to sell them to people because we got a factory in China that's turning out these juicers faster than we know what to do with them. We need to sell these juicers. Let's come up with some way, some health angle to sell these juicers. Because most people used to use juicers just to make sweet, fruit drinks, orange juice, things like that. But no, we need to come up with an angle where we can make people think they're really doing something for their health. We need to tell them that these different things are full of nutrients, and if you think eating them gives you a lot of nutrients, just imagine how many more nutrients you can get if you just squeeze the juice right out of them, throw away the pulp, which has no nutrients, and just. So instead of trying to eat a half a pound of spinach, why don't we juice 2 pounds of spinach, and we can get it into a glass like this, and you can drink that down, and you, my friend, will benefit from the nutrients of 2 pounds of spinach without having to eat all of that. And what they failed to think about was that in that 2 pounds of spinach they juiced were 4 times the poison that would be found in a half a pound of raw spinach. And the green smoothie was invented, which took hold as a fad and a cool thing to do. And next thing you know, there are stores popping up selling smoothies and green smoothies, and not just green smoothies, but fruit smoothies. And all a smoothie is a way to concentrate all the bad things that might be in a food, so you can get 5 to 10 times as much of that down in the same amount of time without all the muss and fuss. So now we got all these stores selling smoothies in the name of good health, selling green ones and fruit smoothies with bananas. I had somebody write me a comment yesterday to show you how far people have to go when they first hear about carnivore, or when they first start wondering, can I do it, or how do I do it? The question was nothing wrong with it. It was a perfectly legitimate question. If I eat 1 banana a day, will that screw up my carnivore diet? I mean, yes. 1 banana a day will screw up any low-carb diet. You can't eat bananas. I didn't make up that rule. I just know what's in a banana. Well, they have potassium. Well, Jesus, okay, yes, they have a little potassium. Do you know that 1 strip of Wright's bacon from Sam's Club has almost 100 milligrams of potassium? Why would you need bananas when you can get potassium from bacon? Oh, man. And then just eating a banana isn't enough. Let's make a smoothie. Let's take 3 bananas and mix it with about 1,500 calories and 200 grams of other fruits and sugars and fructose and everything that's going to just kill us. And then just put it in a 20-ounce cup and eat the whole thing for breakfast. Good luck. Well, listen, thanks for coming. We'll see you in 2 hours when you come back to get your 10 a.m. snack of 100% sugar, because that's when, about the time your blood sugar is going to be crashing and you're going to be hovering right over a diabetic coma. It's crazy. And nobody thinks about it this way. Like I said in my long walk video, that's normal now. That's what we know. That's what we've been taught. And we, this little lunatic fringe of a few people, 100 people in this whole entire world. Think about that. There's 100 people hovering around here with me talking about this stuff. What's the rest of the world doing now? They're out eating crap, most likely. And even the biggest of them, even Ken Berry himself, when he does a live stream, 3,000-4,000 people. 3,000 or 4,000 people. That's a medium-sized auditorium. That's nobody. Nobody. The people need to hear this message. Need to hear this message by the stadium full, by the millions and millions of viewers on TV, by audiences as big as NASCAR and some of these other things that people gather to watch. Even a friggin' rocket launch, even a SpaceX Starlink satellite launch that happens right up the road here on a live stream gets 20,000 viewers. And the best and biggest that we have in this community can get 3,000 or 4,000. And I get 100. And Anthony Chafee gets 300 or 400. And Sean Baker gets a couple hundred to a live stream to talk about the single most important subject that concerns the entire human race and our species that we have to deal with today if we're to survive. And I'm telling you, folks, this is a nutritional holocaust. I don't know how else to put it. We're just poisoning, we're just killing ourselves with this. And we're being led down that path by the hucksters and the companies that are just making all this money and could give a shit less about it. What harm they're causing and what pain they're causing and whose relatives they're killing and whose feet they're cutting off. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they turn around and they tell us, and guys like me who say eat meat, that we are dangerous giving that advice and we need to be canceled. And they say that without one credible piece of actual evidence that anything they say even approaches reality or is true. When the truth is, look at what's happening to us eating this ancestrally appropriate diet. It boggles the mind, and the best we can do is just keep plodding along. And the way I look at it is, I got 100 people here watching. If 10 of you benefit from something that you hear here, whether it's from me or whether it's from somebody that has come in the chat and said something, and the 10 of you go on to change something that saves your lives. And as a result of this live stream, let's even cut that in half, that 5 people better their lives, eliminate a lot of suffering. If we've done that for 5 people here, we've done more than most doctors do in a week for all their patients. They don't cure anything. They perpetuate the suffering and keep writing more prescriptions. So maybe Ken Berry was right when he said Mitch does more good for more people than most doctors. I think he may be right. He may be right. And that makes me proud. Question, Grumpy Cat. Hi, Mitch. How do you rate your new ironwood plate and the Damascus knife? I haven't gotten that new Damascus knife yet. It's supposed to come today. It's out for delivery right now, so I'll let you know. The plate is great. I ate off the plate last night. I don't know if you're going to need to oil it up a little bit because when you wash it with soap and water, it might dry out. That's how wood is. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a little of the butter or bacon fat. Just wipe it rather than wash it with soap and water. I'm just going to wipe it dry. Let the grease on there. It won't hurt anything. It'll keep the wood moist. I'll let you know. You know, for $20, whatever it does, it does. It's going to get, all that stuff's going to get beat up like anything that you keep cutting on with a knife. But it's fun. It's fun. That video I put out today, I had a ball last night making that dinner and eating it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if this knife, and I know knives. I mean, I'm kind of an expert with knives. I was a big collector and not quite a knife maker, but I spent a lot of time in some of these knife makers' shops grinding things, welding things. So I can tell whether it's a piece of junk or whether it's actually approaches something of quality for $40. And if it is, I'll tell you. If it's junk, I'll probably send it back. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not paying enough attention to the chat, and I'm getting thirsty, and it's 4:30. We'll go a little while longer. I only drink sophisticated, imported, Italian seltzer water from Italy that I buy at Sam's Club because I'm sophisticated. Look for the Pottinger's cat study. The Frau Grandma says it's very interesting and telling. Lamb said that. Eat more bacon, less vegetables. Yes. I had another comment. Somebody just telling me how wrong I am. You know, you smoke cigars, you drink coffee. How can you call yourself a carnivore? You know, double barreled to you. People watch one of my videos and think they actually have some idea. They actually know anything about me. I've made over 320 videos, and in those 320 videos, I have exposed every part of my life, my history, my successes, my failures, my hobbies, my beliefs, my likes, my dislikes, my personality. Everything is out there. You can't know somebody by watching them for 5 minutes and thinking you can diagnose everything that's wrong with them and tell them about it. David says, MFer, no effing bananas, G's. Hey, David, I'm gonna let you be my enforcer. Okay, when I get a comment where I want to say something just like what you said, I will send it to you and you can say it. How's that? And I can blame it on you. Kenneth Bates says, Mitch, you're the new carnivore health czar. No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be. Hi, Mitch. Isn't it crazy what's going on? with all the drugs advertised on TV. Now they got this. I just saw it today. I don't even, it didn't even register enough for me to remember the name of the drug, but it was an injection that you got in your eyes. And they had, people were painted like masks all around their face. And there's this condition I never even heard of before. Never heard of this condition at all. But evidently, it's a deal. And you need to ask your doctor if you have it. And if your doctor is so inclined, he will start jabbing injections in your eyes at least once every couple of weeks, and maybe more often. But you have to be wary of the side effects. And if you ever experience, and they read them off, and they were scary, scary list of side effects. Macular degeneration was one of them. Something called, was it wet DMD? I don't want any condition that starts with the word wet. I'm sorry. It's just not something that sounds appetizing to me. And these are the possible side effects. And the one credit I will give the people who put this ad together was, for once and finally, these idiots weren't dancing. Because they're always dancing. They're dancing fat people taking diabetic drugs. They are dancing morning people getting their sugary drinks from Starbucks. They are always dancing when they're taking these drugs. And how many people keep a list of things that they need to ask their doctor because they were told so in a TV commercial? Do you think people really do that? Can you picture that? Can you picture somebody walking into the doctor's office with a list or on their cell phone saying to the nurse, listen, I'm supposed to ask my doctor about all of this. What do you think? What the hell is wrong with us? Unbelievable. Hey Boyd, how you doing? I didn't see you earlier, but the truth, you can't handle the truth, Boyd says. That sounds like something Boyd would say. Or Jack Nicholson might say something like that. Hi, Mitch, new subscriber. I'm enjoying your videos, says Smithy Fitness. I like anybody whose last name is Fitness. Good for you. Welcome, welcome. I wonder how long it's going to be before I scare you away. It's really funny. It's really funny. I almost get a charge out of people when they write, they say, that's it, I'm done, I'm unsubscribing, you've gone past the line. I had somebody made a comment, and I think he was being funny, so I answered it with an LOL. I didn't want to, hurt his feelings, but he said something like, you said the words big ass knife 4 times in your video. I don't know if he was upset by that or he thought that was funny. But I got to tell you, people, I'm a 77-year-old man. I don't play by anybody's rules. And if you don't want to play by my rules, nobody's making anybody watch me. But if I want to say big ass knife, I'm going to say it. That's just who I am. Who I am is a lot more profane than that at times. But I do exercise when I'm in public and on YouTube. I do try to limit how far I push trying to get the point across. And sometimes there are certain words that you have to use. And if a little 8-year-old kid on South Park cartoon can use these words like ass, I don't think I should have to be self-conscious about it. I had a comment the other day that some woman said to me, that's it, I'm out of here. I don't have to listen to a profane, cigar-smoking idiot like you anymore. Okay. Then I won't have to worry about offending you anymore. That works for me too. So I don't know who was quicker on the button, whether she was quicker on the unsubscribe button or I was quicker on the hide this user from my channel button. But whatever, hopefully we will never have to deal with each other again. And that's the beauty of freedom. We all have that freedom. And I get people that tell me so much how to run my YouTube channel and how I should do this and what I should say. And I answer them with one sentence. Say, wow, you sound like you really know a lot. I think you should start your own YouTube channel. Email me your channel name and I'll give you a look. I mean, how else do you deal with people like that? How else do you deal? I only have I talk about it. I have so many hours in a day. I get thousands of these comments. Some of them are as long as a novella. People get insulted if I don't respond to every one of the 50 questions they manage to ask in that long paragraph of theirs. I try. And those of you who have left comments, at least comments on the video, not comments on somebody else's comment to somebody else's reply to somebody else's comment. Not something 3 layers deep in a chain of comments, but an actual comment on a video, because those YouTube shows me. And I can go right down the list and answer every one of them. I'm getting pretty good at that. The comments that are answers to a reply to a comment don't end up on my feed from YouTube. I get an email. And in that email, I get the comment. Just for fun, just so you know. I mean, this is something that very few people actually know. I'm gonna pull something up here. I'm gonna open up my YouTube studio. I'm gonna go to I want to open up my email account. And I want to show you here. Hang on one second. These are comments right here. These are comments that I got. An email. I get 200 to 300 of these emails every day. These are not the comments on the videos that I get from YouTube. These are emails telling me that so-and-so, new reply to a comment, new comment on how to make comment, new comment, false flag burner replied to you, new reply to a comment on how to make comment. And these things, when I open them up, say, this one's from Terry. Okay. We all knew you'd press the buy now button eventually. Okay, she was making fun of me, but this was not a comment on the video. This was a comment on something else. Now, in order for me to reply to her, I hit the reply button. And what it does is it opens up another window and brings up the video, and I have to find her comment in that video and then reply. That could take me 5 or 10 minutes. I can't do that a couple hundred times a day, and I've actually been keeping up with it. It's nuts how YouTube works that way. And I'm telling you all this, so for those of you who are used to me never missing a reply on anything, I've officially reached the point where I don't have the time anymore to chase down the replies to the comments that were replies to somebody else's comment who was commenting on somebody else's reply. I can't chase down those threads that deep to find something that somebody stuck my name on and I got the email. Can't do it. I just can't do it. So if I miss replying or at least acknowledging that I read your comment by clicking the heart, in which case you get notified that I loved your comment, I apologize. I just can't, and nobody else can either. And it's a double-edged sword. If my channel stayed small enough to where I could keep doing this, then I wouldn't be happy either. And it's growing bigger and bigger, and there's more and more of this. And I love the fact that you guys are interacting with me. And I encourage that. And that is where the double-edged sword comes in. It makes more work. And Chad, if you're still here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody that's a YouTuber that's been around a while knows exactly what kind of effort it is to just be a human being. Treat other people like human beings. And when somebody takes the time to write you something, to have the courtesy to read it, and if it warrants a response, to respond. And I try to do that. Just like I try to not miss the chats, but it's very hard for me to keep up with everything that you guys are saying to each other while I'm trying to talk. Maggie M is here. Maggie M says, hi Mitch, new subscriber, trying every day to go full carnivore one day at a time. Any advice on getting through the cravings? Yeah, I have videos about that. Many videos. They're entitled like How to Survive the First 30 Days, the rules for the first 30 days, the 10 most important things that you need to know for the first 30 days. And my biggest single tip to be able to overcome cravings, because everybody thinks they can, everybody thinks they have willpower, when in reality, we are helpless. All of us. I don't care how strong you think you are. Your subconscious mind thinks you're going to die if you don't get sugar. You're going to get sugar. And you're going to like it because you're going to make it make sense. You're going to rationalize it. Well, just this one last time. I'll start again on Monday. I could do it next time, but just right now, it's been a rough day, a lot of stress. I just need this now. I promise, it's last time. I'm strong. I can do this. Yeah, okay. No, we can't. We can't. The way you get rid of your cravings is to convert yourself from a sugar priority metabolizer to a fat burner. The way you do that is by not eating sugar for 30 days or so, or even more. That's where the rub is. How do I do that with cravings when I can't get over my cravings? And my surefire way to do it is the first 30 days you have two rules. The first rule is you got one job, and that is to eat. Eat until you can't move. Eat till you can't eat anymore. Eat. Eat the right foods. Always have things cooked. Always have hamburger patties, hard-boiled eggs, bacon, pre-cooked, ready to go. The instant your mind wanders off towards ice cream or cheesecake or whatever you're addicted to, run. Carry it in your bag if you're out of the house. Have a holster made where you can keep a half a dozen hamburger patties in a holster so you can reach them instantly when a craving hits you. And don't just take a bite. Eat. Start eating and don't stop until you are sick of the thought of food. And if you happen to eat 10,000 calories a day, do it. If you even gain a few pounds that first month, do it. But I can tell you one thing that won't happen is you won't get cravings strong leptin that you can't control. You can't possibly, putting that much protein and fat into your body, your hormones, your leptin, your satiety pathways will start working. The thought of food will make you slightly sick. You reach one of those, I'll never eat again, I can't eat another bite moments. And that's all you need to worry about is try very hard to keep yourself in that state for the first 30 days. And pretty soon you'll find you don't need to be in that state. You just won't get the cravings anywhere near as strong as you used to. You'll start to burn fat. And after 30 days, then you get real about, well, what's my eating regimen really going to be? You'll find that as you get towards the end of that first 30 days, you'll be eating less and less without even realizing it. But all you got to know, and it's so simple, don't let yourself get hungry. Just eat. Eat food. Some people call that priming, like priming a pump. It's similar. Everybody's got their own little method of it, but it's exactly what it means. We need to force those fat-burning pathways to wake up and remember how the hell they're supposed to work, because they've never been used in our lifetime. We have been living on sugar, which we're not supposed to. That is a survival food. That's the food to get us over the famines until the real food shows up. We were never meant to subsist on it full time. We have the pathways to use it, but we have pathways to use it for short-term uses. Short-term uses. That's why we store it as glycogen. Our long-term energy storage is and always will be fat. And we have the mechanisms to turn the excess sugar into fat, which is why carbs make you fat. And grain-fed cows get fat. Anyway, there's a long answer to a short question. That's the only way I was ever able to crash my addictions, and my addictions are completely gone. I never have a thought now. And like I said, if I see somebody eating that crap, I actually feel sorry for them. The last thing on my mind is thinking that I might want them. Hi, Mitch. For your information, the Mueller 12-inch frying pan it's back to $25 again. It went back down $10. Holy cow, cool. That's a great pan. I bought two of them when they were $25 last month. I got two of them sitting in my kitchen, in the pan, in the under the sink counter, brand new in a box. I could not buy it for $25, and they last me about a year. And the one I'm using now is almost a year old, and it's starting to get a little, scratched up inside, a little dark. And I'm about ready to drag one of the new ones out. If you can't treat yourself to a new $25 frying pan every year, why is life even worth living? Boyd Lamb says, so what's the schedule for the video with Curry from a couple weeks ago? Tomorrow at 5:15 Eastern, Boyd, 4:15 Central, and it's going to be simulcast on both our channels. I don't know who's going to get what notifications, but you can find it on my channel or find it on Curry's channel. Either way, we'll be there, and we had a ball last time, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a wild time tomorrow. He's an interesting guy, and we got a lot in common. I think we're about coming to the end of this. Coming up on 2 hours. Chad's got to run. Take care, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for sticking around. And Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee is here. Good to see you. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to, before it gets too late, I'm going to cook up my second meal of the day. I don't like to leave too much time between them. I waited till a little later to eat my first meal today. And get back to editing that unboxing video, which I'll put out there tomorrow on the new Ninja, the latest acquisition in my air fryer collection. So let me get a little traveling music here. Little blues, I like that. And we still got almost 100 people in the house. That's great. That's great. Listen, my friends, so great of you to come. For all of you people who've never been here before, I hope you enjoyed it. I do this on Tuesday night, very similar to this. I do a private community live stream on Thursday night. And, if you get used to me and can put up with me, you might want to join that. It's a lot of fun because that's actually a live stream where I put out links and everybody comes in and they got their window and we're all in a meeting and we get to know each other face to face. And anybody in the community can come in and join us. I can have up to 10 people at a time in there. Sometimes it's a little tough to referee, but we have a great time. There's no subject off limits. It's a private community. We don't have to worry about, we can talk about anything we want, and it's fun, So with that, I am going to take my own advice and pretty much take the rest of the day off and get ready for tomorrow with Kerry. 24/7 job, this YouTube stuff. Again, thanks for coming. I'll see you tomorrow over at Homestead Hell. So take the rest of the day off and eat meat.